There we go. Notification, baby.
You say that like you're the only one that got it.
Yeah.
I didn't get mine.
There
Oh, I got
you
it
go.
now.
Since you motherfuckers always want to talk shit.
Hey, really? To be honest with you, none of us in this group, except for one person, is a motherfucker. Well, actually, no, you are too. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a motherfucker
Yeah.
too.
Steve might be, you just don't know.
Apologize
Some of
for
us just
anyone
don't
out
talk
there
about that
watching.
shit.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got all of the bad boys here with me today.
See.
Yeah, it's good to see all of you here. You know, not taking a break of some sort.
That's right.
You
Imagine
never
that.
know.
All about them Lakers, baby. Lakers and Cowboys today. Boom.
Where are we going to start
Next
with
thing
our...
you're going to tell me is that you're a fucking Yankees fan.
Oh, boy.
No. Now, we got somebody that is, but
We do urge everyone, come to think about it, to jump onto the our live video feed for comments, as I'm sure our 3 counts today is going to really have you typing away. And as we can, we will read off those comments and we'll just go from there. So we'll start with our first count, which comes from a couple of sites. The first one here is CagesideSeats.com, and it's titled, Eric Bischoff Thinks Fans Are Ditching Pro Wrestling for Cable News. Now, it reads that viewership of pro wrestling has seen a steady decline for a number of years, and there are many factors involved in that decline. General interest in what the likes of WWE has to offer is a big one, but even AEW isn't seeing numbers like they once were when the promotion debuted. Also, it says that on his latest 83 weeks podcast episode, this is what he had put out there. He says, the one question that nobody ever asks about fucking anything, whether it's politics, entertainment, or whatever it is why? Why did those people leave and where did they go? I have a theory, and my guess or instinct tells me that 18 to 49 demo, my sense is that those people are watching the news. He also quotes, look at Tucker Carlson's 18 to 49. Look at CNN's 18 to 49. Look at MSNBC. That was the wrestling audience. Where have they gone? They've gone to cable news. Why have they gone to cable news? Because cable news is more like professional wrestling than professional wrestling used to be. Their promos are fucking awesome. He also quotes, regardless of your political ideologies or what you believe in or where you get your information from, it doesn't fucking matter. Everybody does the same thing. They get up there and they're fucking argue and they cut great promos on each other. It's great narrative. There's almost always someone up there that you want to choke, and there's almost always someone up there that's saying what you believe in. So you're investing more emotion watching cable news than you get from watching wrestling because the promos are better. Now, we also linked that from another article we got from the ChicagoReader.com, and it's titled, Politics is Wrestling. The fights are fake, but the folks pulling the strings behind the scenes are real. And I'll just read one quote for him. He says, I felt similar distress when I learned that our national politics is as fake as pro wrestling. On television, our leaders appear to do battle. They tear up speeches, name call, and thumb their chest. But behind closed doors, our 2 dominant political parties are working for the same group of wealthy donors. Well, guys, it looked like we lost our king. But
Your king.
So at some point, I guess he'll be back. Who knows? But let's get into this, fellas. Does Eric Bischoff have a point? Does the writer of his article have a point? Let's start off with, let's say, do we believe that's where the fans, I mean, there's been a huge drop off since the start of COVID, and it seems like trying to grab them all back hasn't happened. And maybe that's just because wrestling fully hasn't gotten back to having their audience members back, and maybe wrestling is one of those things that I hate to say it, when people stop watching it from some point, sometimes it's hard for them to get back. So they find interest in other things. That's how UFC grown over time. Is it true? Maybe politics is where they're going and now getting their sort of their battles in this. What say you all? Anyway.
I mean, I think that they make an interesting point, but I think people have always watched the news, just in general, because it is very entertaining, and no matter what side you're on, it's easy for you to engage. But it's probably, if anything, ramped up because, I mean, A, it's COVID, we're still a little bit on shutdown, and B, we're getting closer to the damn election. So at the end of the day, shit is getting hot. People are tuning in. Everybody has an opinion or a side they want to jump in on. So, I mean, I could definitely see for that demo graphic that he had talked about. Yeah, the majority of people in that age category are probably tuning into that on a regular basis. But do I feel like that's what's drawing away from wrestling? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I actually, one thing that I'll mention is something that a lot of people forget whenever they try to correlate the numbers between, how things were during the Attitude Era versus how they are now. And that is the actual passage of time between those two periods. So you got to figure the Attitude Era was 20 plus years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 20 plus years, add that on to the age of the people that were watching in the Attitude Era, and they could actually be outside of that 18 to 49 demographic, which is one of the more popular arguments as to why NXT does so well with that 50 plus demographic when we talk about the demos on Wednesdays, because you have those people that have indexed out of the 18 to 49 and into the 50 plus. So I think that it's apples and oranges. You have two totally different crowds at this point.
Interesting. Matt Michaels, what's your take, man?
I don't know. The guy in the White House is a fucking WWE guy. So, I mean, technically, can we count the ratings from politics right now onto the wrestling? Just solve the problem that way?
I mean, he is a Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
It's true.
There you go.
And the other guy's wife was in his cabinet, so why not just give it to him? Just give him the ratings. This way everyone's happy, right? Combine all the numbers. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
But really, does it really fucking matter at the end of the day? It doesn't.
Well, I mean, I would assume in the wrestling industry, the guys are trying to truly figure out why they have lost a lot of their fans outside of just it being COVID. I mean, to lose a big drop, and that's from all companies, to where did they all just go? And so someone's thinking where they have to go somewhere, because you're not engaged into something. So what are they being engaged in? UFC numbers hasn't picked up dramatically elsewhere. So I guess Bischoff is thinking, well, maybe politics is where it is. I don't know. Let me ask you guys this question here. Do you believe, though, and this is going now not only to Bischoff's argument, but also the writer, when he says that politics in many ways is just like wrestling? Would you guys would agree with that?
Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is it's a fucking soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Politics has become the best non-fictional show on TV. Mm-hmm. And it's a caricature of what it once was.
Well, let me ask you this. Isn't that kind of the problem, though? Because politics itself, despite what we all may think of it, and look, half of the country we know don't even vote. And for whatever reason why they don't, are not engaged, The bottom line is there are decisions that are being made to affect our lives. So why would politics be treated or thought of differently than it just being like a show, like a movie, like a wrestling match? Why is it taking it to a point where it should be looked at as serious?
I mean, I'll go ahead and take that. I think to a certain extent, I think it's a lot of it has to come with knowledge base. And the reason why I say that is because I had an opportunity about 2 years ago to talk to a couple high school kids that were seniors and juniors and probably a couple sophomores. And I told them it was interesting remember one of the coolest classes I ever had was, well, I don't know if they still do in as a senior in high school, but in order to graduate high school, you had to take government, and it basically just told you the ins and out of how our government is ran, what are the 3 branches of government and whatnot. And so when I talked to them, they had a couple of kids that were kind of explaining, yeah, I took that class too, but I just slept through the classes, whatever. They all were kind of saying the same vein, like it wasn't important. And so I kind of wonder, does that kind of the reason why sometimes? But again, like we said earlier in the article, the age group we're talking about is not that age group. But when I think about my generation, particularly, I think that the drama does kind of play a bigger role now than what at least I remember as a teenager. I used to think it was kind of boring, you know what I mean? And I tried to pick the best candidate at 18 when I could vote as best I could. But I really wasn't as interested. But now I look at it now, I'm interested. And some of it that makes it interesting to watch is some of the drama. Some of the people that come up there, the guests, especially the guests. There's so many guests that they have that are analysts and are professors and are advocates. And they come up and I'm just like, wow, who knew there were so many experts at politics? And when you hear them, some of them sound ridiculous. And, some of them are on point.
So many experts on politics. Have you opened Facebook lately?
Well, we haven't even begun with Facebook.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
It astounds me just the sheer number of people that have, decided that they're going to become politically vocal, yet they haven't done research. And that's one thing that's astounding to me. But I think that it does bode well for us as a country. That more people are taking a vested interest into how the government works, and moreover, how the government works for each and every one of us. That's very key.
Come on. They're watching either Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. They ain't learning shit, man. That's just fucking pure entertainment. They don't teach you anything. And then if they do teach you something, then the people watching Fox are going to say, they're teaching them the wrong thing over there on MSNBC and CNN and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's just people they're out of their fucking mind and they're being lied to. They're being fed bullshit. And these people who sell it are great at doing it. That's it.
So where are people then supposed to go for their news if all the networks are bullshit?
Well, apparently Simon goes to either a high school or a nightclub or a Burger King.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You took totally what I said, put it out of context, but I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, so I'll go ahead and answer the question, Impact. So it's been mentioned here that my stances are typically to the right. But what I'll do is whenever there's any kind of news story that comes out, what I will do is I will consult media from both sides of the political spectrum. What has to be done is you have to internally, you have to be able to discern the points from the left-leaning article and the points from the right-leaning article, and just know that it's going to be somewhere in between. And then you have to do your own research to find other knowledge.
Or what Sin City Steve is saying, oh my gosh. What Sin City Steve is trying to say is use discernment in research.
Yeah, just do your own research. I don't give a flying fuck.
I don't want to do any research.
I don't give a flying fuck if your opinions are exactly opposite of mine. after you do your own research.
Mhm.
But to not do any research and just say, oh, this guy's bad or that woman sucks. Without doing your own research, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're going to come off looking like a complete fucking idiot.
And what I am saying right there is the fact that you're going to have every single person in that coveted age category of 18 to 49 who are way below that 30-year-old line where they're just out of their fucking minds, man. They're not listening to anything. I mean, you're saying it in a pure adult manner. You should be able to analyze both sides. Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
But I don't think people want to, though. That's the thing. They don't want to.
Exactly.
They want to be fed what entertains them. And that's where I would say the article does make sense. Is much like wrestling and how we talk about smarks and how they think they know the business and they know everything. Much is the same with Facebook, particularly, and politics.
Yeah.
Most of these people are only reading one side. They're not reading the whole gambit. And it's okay to have an opinion. Have an opinion of what you have, but do the research.
Yeah, they're definitely locked in their own echo chambers.
And the question really here is, Simon, who are the high school girls' favorite wrestler? Is it Roman Reigns still, or?
I don't know. I didn't ask him that question. I was only just merely saying that it's interesting how when I went to high school and I took government, I thought it was a privilege to learn about government outside of my parents, because a lot of people do make their political choices based on what their family does. And I felt it was an opportunity for me to engage myself to say, okay, what do I like? That whether the family likes it or not. And I thought it was cool because at the end of the day, we ain't had the internet like we did back when I was a senior, which was 1999. We didn't have it really truly like that. So it was like, hey, I feel like there's an opportunity for me to be empowered. And that's why I was saying it in reference to that, is when I talked to some of these younger cats, they was like, whatever, it was just a regular class. Home ec was probably more important.
That's right. When he was in high school back in the 70s.
I said 1999. Let's move
years
on.
ago. All right.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to give you that. Let's move on. I clearly said
so that's what you're doing in the high schools. All right.
Let me get you in the conversation, King Lucky. Welcome back. Just kind of curious. I know you kind of read up, so you kind of know how to answer anyway. Do you believe that fans are ditching wrestling for politics? I'll start off with that one. And the second one is, do you believe politics in many ways is like wrestling? So two-part question.
Yeah, I would say, it's a component of it, right? It's entertainment. One of the things that I think happens too, I don't think it's solely the reason why. I don't think they're ditching it solely for politics, but I mean, I think also the way that you're viewing content now has totally changed. So you may have an opportunity to watch something that draws your interest, that maybe draws your interest more than wrestling at the time. And then you can go back at a later time and watch wrestling. You can watch it on a streaming service or a website. You don't necessarily have to watch wrestling when it comes out. So if Monday Night Raw has traditionally been boring to you, you'll watch something else first. And I think that also plays a factor in it, and secondly, it's totally a circus, depending on what party you're for and all that. It's entertainment, the smear campaigns or the smear commercials, you start to see them running now because it's that time. So yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. Some things are said that are just way out there and you're like, okay, but it's entertaining, and different people, it rubs different people different ways. So yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm possibility for you to see them draw eyes away.
All right. Well, fellas, hopefully if that's where folks are getting their entertainment from, then I guess, enjoy. But I would still say that it should be something that should be taken serious, so that you make the right decision that will, you see, affect you and affect others. So one thing to think about there. Let's go over to our second count. And this one, actually, it was my good old boy, Simon Street sent. It didn't come from
Young boy.
Oh my gosh.
my oh boy.
No, go ahead and finish the statement. My young boy.
I can't
Don't
do it.
say that. Don't say that.
But anyway, it came off of Facebook, and it seemed like there was a just someone decided to want to post, and it said MVP may have single-handedly rejuvenated the careers of the Black roster in WWE, not just the members of the Hurt Business, but also given the rub to Apollo and Ricochet. He needs to be spoken about as the upper echelon of Black wrestlers. So MVP, since he's been back there, I mean, it definitely have shown that all of the African American wrestlers that's on the, especially from the Raw brand, has been getting a push. And I mean, it's really coming off legit. I'm really enjoying the storyline that's been there to it. Should MVP be given the credit as to what we've been seeing since his return?
Well, I mean, I think it's been the perfect storm, right? He's leading the charge this year with the talent on Raw, but I really believe they got a wake-up call, WWE did, when they just accidentally stumbled on Kofi Mania. And then you start to see some things change, and you started to see, how big that community plays in wrestling. And so now you see a willingness more than ever to give those opportunities where maybe they weren't before. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was just before it was the New Day because they're entertaining. But now you're starting to see Street Profits, the Hurt Business, Ricochet, Sasha, and you can just go on and on and on. But I think you're starting to see more opportunities. And, it's good that he came up with a quality faction. They put some good members in there. They look great, and so they've been booked good to this point. So we'll see what happens. I think he does deserve some of the credit. Yes.
Okay. What about you, Simon? You was hyped about it. Now, what's your take?
No, I was definitely hyped about it because, when I saw the post, it definitely struck me because it's what I've been kind of thinking about, especially over the last month. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, MVP came back to WWE January 26th-ish, somewhere around there. And since then, he actually just immediately just went to work, obviously making his presence known. I felt a little bit better than some people that come back in that capacity that's been away for a longer time. Mm-hmm. It's like he knew where his footing was. He had a goal objective. And if you look at some articles that, I had to, as I was presented it to Impact, I was kind of looking at it to kind of support that. I began kind of looking at MVP of why he left WWE. He went to New Japan, and he said he loved the style of wrestling that was there. And it's interesting because most of the style of wrestling that's in Japan is strong style. And it's interesting enough because when I think about what were ways to kind of display the Black wrestler as far as a formula, yes, I think WWE, as you mentioned earlier, Lucky, hit on that pop with Kofi Mania and with kind of the Street Profits. But I feel like the WWE didn't have somebody that had a formula of a way to, in a way, normalize it to where it can be consistently implemented. And I think that's why I feel that MVP should be deserving to be talked about because, I was joking with somebody and I said, look, if MVP, if this goes right in the next couple of months going into WrestleMania, you really see the Hurt Business as a standing faction that's not based like the Nation of Domination, which the WWE has done in the past. Mm-hmm. It's a normal faction, and it just happens to be 4 Black guys in it. And the storyline is engaging. You also have Apollo Crews, who's really gotten views. And it's incident enough you say Apollo Crews, because in an article that I also was reading called Talk Sports, and the author is an Alex McCarthy, he talks about MVP, and this is back in July. And he was talking about how MVP in this article was talking about how much he said he liked Crews. He said he has a huge upside because he's coachable. Now, when I heard that, I thought about what we've talked about for years, how like we just feel like something was missing for Apollo Crews, something that I felt like the WWE just couldn't provide because they didn't have it. That's MVP. I feel like Bobby Lashley, what I've said before, back in TNA days, there was a faction with Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Kenny King.
Mhm.
And that was amazing. One of the best factions that I liked watching in TNA. So I liked it because it was something that worked. It's something that made sense. It's almost similar to the Hurt Business. It's about that money. It's about that opportunity, seeing the day. And if you need us, we could put in the work. Getting back to my closing statement is I will say that if MVP, I'm calling it right now, this goes good going through WrestleMania, and this is the quintessential formula on how to promote Black wrestlers to being normal and not having to have a crazy gimmick that's tied to race per se, then I'm going to call MVP Moses.
Wow.
MVP is Moses. You can look at your wrist because it's still the same color, brother. But my time is over, and you can have it, Matt Michaels.
Well, let me ask you, Sin City or Matt Michaels, you guys want to have any take on this? Does MVP deserve some credit for what he has done for some of the Black talent we've seen on the Raw side? Would you give him any credit on that, or you just happen to think he just was there at the right time and it just kind of just worked out that way?
I'd say without a doubt, yes. It speaks for itself. Since he started back with the company in a consultative type of a role and as an agent, you'd be stupid to not believe that there's a correlation between the two. Honestly, he's got his fingerprints all over Raw. That's one of the bright spots of Raw is the Hurt Business and the people that he's helped to elevate without question.
All right. You shaking your head there, Michaels. What's your take?
Nope.
Nope.
This is the one thing that you have to take into consideration. Lashley and Shelton Benjamin were people who have been around for fucking ever. How is this breaking any new ground?
Well,
you just took two veteran guys and put them with one other veteran and then exposed no one new. It's not revolutionizing anything or anyone.
If I may send a rebuttal your way, Mr. Michaels.
You can send your butthole my way any day.
I didn't say butthole. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm disgusted.
That took a fucking turn.
Yeah, that sure did. No, but what I am saying, and particularly what the gentleman that posted it did say was, what it's doing for Apollo Crews. And it's really helping even Ricochet this past Monday. That was the more natural promo I've ever heard Ricochet ever do. He just seemed more in his element. And that's why I say that MVP is the right candidate. And that's why I call him Moses. He does provide a better natural way to present Black talent in a capacity that's normal. Sometimes WWE at times, whether it's their writers or whatever the case may be, they present them and either they overdo it or I don't even know what the word is. They overmake it to where it doesn't really show the talents of the individuals, and it makes it too much of like a gimmick around him. So I think that MVP actually does, like Apollo Crews is at an all-time high right now. Cedric Alexander is about to be at an all-time high because he's still him, but in a better type of atmosphere, a better type of him being able to do promos more naturally. And that's where WWE kind of for a long time with the Black wrestler had a hard time. They didn't have anybody there that could say, look, bro, this is normal. This is a little bit out there. Do you see what I'm saying? You even look at Bobby Lashley. Yeah, Bobby Lashley's been around for a long time. As we forgot, the last time Trump was involved in the WWE, Bobby Lashley was there, just to kind of tell you. So, yes, but for a long time, the only sauce that I said on this show that Bobby Lashley did great when was TNA. Is when he was doing that faction with Kenny King and MVP. That, to me, is the best Bobby Lashley I've ever seen. And so we're seeing that now. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. I get what you're saying, Michaels. But I'm telling you right now, when you have somebody in your company that can really point out what's natural and what the audience would seem as natural, you got a winning combination.
So I will say from the chat, I did have one of people comment, Sam, who's a friend of mine, shout out to Sam. He says, because WWE wasn't doing anything with them, it brings out their potential and it makes the fans care. MVP's return has been amazing. So, I mean, there you go. It resonates with some people, and to his point, I think that his return has been good.
No one said anything about it not being good. I'm arguing the fact that if you really want it to be the one pushing those other wrestlers, how come you took those two guys? He could have gave the rub to any of those guys right off the bat.
So he
I think
said
that's part of the
maybe.
formula.
So he said maybe the Hurt Business could have been Ricochet, Cedric, and instead of Shelton and
I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
That's the other thing. Like, you got a guy like Titus O'Neil. What are you doing with him?
Well,
Yeah.
So that could be
but-
said with any of these guys, right? That's the other unfair, point in terms of what we can, look at as fans, is we can just point out and go, well, how about this guy, and this guy? That's the only thing.
Well, you make a very good point, Matt Michaels, with that. Why didn't he have the other guys? Because I think the reason why he picked Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley is because he knew he could create the base of the sauce. Like a gumbo, there's a base. It's called a roux. When you make the roux, you can add all the other ingredients in it. And he knew him and Bobby Lashley together was good for business because they've done it before and it's easy to connect like that. And much as our wrestling minds are, we sometimes, when someone comes back, we want instant gratification. We want to know. We don't want to extend it. Okay, it's gone 3-4 weeks. We've seen him on TV. What the fuck is he doing? MVP didn't do that. He went right on the chase. Immediately aligned himself with Bobby Lashley. Took out the trash with Lana. No offense to Lana. And then he went ahead and started building a legit faction. Now, I ain't gonna lie, for
the worst thing that you've said during this whole fucking thing is my apologies to Lana.
well, I'm trying to be a little bit nice. I'm just saying it wasn't working for her with Bobby Lashley.
Well,
Lana.
here's another thing. Here's another way to look at it. Those guys that he initially brought in are seasoned veterans, right? Mm-hmm. So they have fewer days in front of them than they have, behind them. So you can have different iterations of the Hurt Business
where Mysterio should be fucking champion.
Where eventually you get to a point where maybe you do bring in Ricochet and Apollo Crews at some point. The changing of the guard, the old guard, gets taken out by the new guard. So I mean, if they give it time, you could have this around for a while.
And I will say this too, and I want to reveal what we talk about down the road with regards to Raw. But what happened on Raw, that to me is more believable of what happened than what if those other two people would have been part of the Hurt Business, such as Apollo Crews or Ricochet. I felt like the way that the order went is the most believable product, and they hit that shit nail on the donkey with regards to that. Pin the tail on the donkey, nail on the donkey.
All right. Well, there we go. We'll leave it there.
Y'all never played pin the tail on the donkey?
Wait. Did you play this game with those girls that you were in high school?
Oh my gosh. Really? First of all, I don't hang out with no high school girls but my daughter. Not the only one. That's funny. I give you that.
God, those were your daughter's friends?
Oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm done. Let's move on.
This is getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting this is getting pretty
all right, worse. Let's move on to our third count. Have you seen the movie You Cannot Kill David Arquette?
What?
I tell you, just to start a little bit on that, because this was my entertainment for a Friday evening.
Wait, we were supposed to watch it?
What did you do? Read it?
You read the script?
So my whole thing is, and I'm not going to say no more than this little bit, and then I'm going to jump in during the conversation when you guys get started. I didn't watch much of WCW at all. I only watched WCW when NWO started off, it was making so much noise that I had to turn the channel from Raw and see what the heck was going on. So I started watching there, and then eventually, as it started to fade out, I, came home. But so I don't remember this whole thing of when David. I do remember there were people that were pissed, but I didn't see the lead up to it. I didn't understand any of it. So I'm watching this movie now, and I have some thoughts on it, but I'm gonna save it because I'm gonna see what you guys think. I think all of you guys lived through or watched WCW as all this was actually happening. So the question I'm just gonna throw out there is, compared to what you remembered from how you watched it and how upset you were, or maybe you were happy, does how you remember it fit in perfectly to how what was demonstrated in this particular movie that you watched? How does that fit in, or did it not? What's your guys' take on it? It's the new movie that's out, and it's out on online. So it's not in the theaters, whatever. You have to go on to Amazon Prime or Apple or any of those to see the movie. But again, You Cannot Kill David Arquette. What was you guys' take on that particular movie and what you remember during that time?
Can I start?
Go.
Okay. First of all, shouts out to Lori, who was actually in the film, and she got some good camera time. So shout out to you, because I know you in the chat. You was looking good, baby girl. You was looking good up in there. Great documentary. Because I watched WCW religiously with WWE or WWF at the time, Raw. I remember this, and I wasn't as pissed as other times in my life where I was pissed about shit like that, but I did think it was stupid as hell that David Arquette won that title. I was just like, this is a little bit stupid. But I like the way he did it. I like the way it showed his transition. It showed the reality of our business, and I think that was his focal point he wanted to do throughout the whole documentary, is like a story of redemption. And I thought it was excellent. I like the way it was put together. I like that it was just very raw. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of teared up at some parts. I ain't gonna lie, just a little bit. And I was like, wow, and they brought in good people. DDP was in there. I mean, you had Eric Bischoff that really presented a good narrative of what happened and why it happened. DDP also said the whole thing too. I loved the way he said, in the whole documentary, like he said, well, what would you do if they said they were going to put the belt on you? Would you say no? I had to be honest with myself. I was like, man, it'd be really hard for me to say no. And it was just a great tale. I really appreciate the hell of it. I will be watching it again, actually, with my son. I had to make sure there wasn't no too inappropriate stuff on there.
Interesting.
How do you watch that and not be a fan of David Arquette? I thought it was, to have the heart and the passion after, having a heart attack and all that stuff, to follow through with the comeback. And he got a lot of press, surrounding it. Some of the stuff that they talked about with him not becoming a big as movie star as some of his, contemporaries was, that reminded me that he was on that course of becoming a big star, and then got pigeonholed into just doing, comedies and stuff like that. But wrestling in dangerous environments, like when he wrestled outside in the forest with those guys and the ring broke, and then wrestling dangerous matches. I mean, sheer guts to wrestle Nick fucking Gage. Not only that, but to finish the match with a hole in his neck, I was blown away. And it was just awesome to see him get that Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth moment at the end. I too got a little emotional at the end of that, where you could kind of, you could feel the waterworks, especially when they had him and Jack Perry, because taking him to the hospital was Luke Perry, and that part really hit me because, he saved his life. And then we all know that Luke Perry ultimately, died. And so it was great. It was a great piece of a film. I really enjoyed it.
I guess from the beginning, I probably should have gave a spoiler alert, because I would have hate for anyone who have not seen it to now feel like they've seen everything based on what you're giving. But
too bad.
But let's continue though. Go ahead, Sin City, what's
Yeah.
your take, man?
So I think that I can definitely speak to this. I was watching pro wrestling at the time, and when it happened, I completely remember thinking, "What the fuck is this shit?" And I was just in disbelief when I saw that David Arquette became the WCW champion. Fast forward a little bit, obviously, I got older, matured, and started looking at wrestling from a business mindset. And this was something that if you watch any shoot interviews with anybody involved with WCW, everybody always gets asked the David Arquette question. And it was something that I grew to understand and honestly respect the decision because of all the stuff that happened as a result. And the film showed a great kind of a montage of all of the press stuff that happened as a result of him winning the championship. The other thing that really kind of worked and endeared Arquette to me and obviously to all of the viewers is the fact that he started off literally his first booking ended up being with a self-described shit promoter where he didn't get paid. He got blasted with weapons and got his ass kicked. And he literally started from the bottom again. And he came in right in the penthouse, and then here you go. He makes his comeback and he starts from the outhouse. So it was awesome to see. And I did have the pleasure of meeting David Arquette in New Orleans at WrestleMania 34. He was taking in some of the shows that weekend, some of the indie shows. And super cool guy. And yeah, I'm super happy that everything materialized and worked out. So it was an awesome watch for sure.
All right, what do you think? What's your say, Matt?
The WCW title championship thing, I could care less. I mean, it's entertainment, so who the fuck cares? I always thought that was one of the dumbest things that anyone could bitch and complain about, because you knew he wasn't going to have that title for more than a handful of days, and that's the one thing. The thing is, why do fans get so pissed? And then you turn around in this documentary where we first kind of see him at that event where he's doing a signing, and the people are basically still blaming this guy for
Right.
ruining everything, which is so bizarre, man. And then he goes and I won't even call it a fucking, to have backyard wrestling just in a backyard with, the thing set up and maybe 5 people there or whatever. It's just fucking ridiculous. Those people are not trained, or if they are trained, that was not pro wrestling that you saw. That was a fucking mugging. And that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're breaking them into the business, fuck off, man. You go to a fucking school that is reputable and you learn your craft. All right? You don't just go in a fucking ring and take out lightning fucking bulbs and crush them. And I mean, that was fucked up,
Yeah.
And then to go as far as to say, and he didn't get a payment, so it's like, really giving him the treatment of how these promoters are. And it's like, you know what? That's fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
That's horrible. That's old mind frame bullshit. And that's also people who probably have no desire to make it other than in their own mind. You know.
Yeah.
So that was
Let
just
me ask you guys, why back in that time were you so upset? Because as we saw in the film, there were fans, and they're still today were upset at the fact that he got the title. Why was that? Well, okay, if I remember correctly, there was a time in WWE where I think Vince McMahon was once the WWE champion.
Yep.
And I mean, I didn't look at it as, oh man, I hate Vince McMahon because he has the championship belt in terms of, you know, I hate it. But the storyline, I went along with it. But not, it wasn't a personal thing where it seems like with Arquette, it's more personal that people have it. I'm just kind of curious for you guys during that time when this was happening. Why were you so upset that he became the WCW champion?
Because he was an outsider to the business entirely.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to remember.
I didn't have an issue. Obviously, I groaned and was like, "What the fuck?" when Vince went over. But you know, there was some shred of, you know, well, this guy, without this guy, there would be no this. But with Arquette, he was viewed as an outsider that literally, you know, just got the rub from the, you know, the highest heights. So,
and one thing you have to remember too is that the business was taken way more serious back then than today's standards.
Come on, whatever.
It's true.
No, it wasn't, dude.
Come on.
It wasn't.
Kayfabe wasn't dead, or at least not as dead as it is now when he got the title. I think that plays in perfectly. And you make a great point.
The simple difference is that there was no internet. That's it. That's it.
I will say that it's interesting you asked that question of why we were so upset. First of all, this is why I thought the documentary was brilliant in the way it was written, because what they did is they talked more about the people who dislike it were not so much the fans, but indie wrestlers, people who are working extra hard. They talked about the generations of wrestlers who, you know, put their body on the line. One guy even said, "I missed Christmas," a whole bunch of times. So I think that they tried to paint that in the documentary to show that, look, this is a real business, should be taken care of. We ordinarily, there was a strict rule, which I think Lucky was trying to allude to, was that back then that was kind of a no-no. You know, if you give away the title, you're not really protecting the business. And that was what they talked about in that documentary as well. But for me personally, when I watched it, I didn't like it because up until that point, Arquette had never done any wrestling at all. They didn't showcase him anywhere. He was just on actually as an extra person. I would have rather seen Virgil win the damn title than Arquette and have been okay with it. It was just one of those things to where I wasn't as upset as I was with Nikki because I paid for shit and didn't get it. But I was just felt like back in that day, I was just like, wow, man, he was on screen. He just wins the title. Is that how it is?
I'd be interested to see if someone took that same approach, but you flipped it this time. You worked your way, up and through the ranks and all that, and he's a big celebrity. And then, he wins a title at a major federation. It'd be interesting to see how that's received. And to Michael's point now, there wasn't the internet, but nowadays that person would probably get over way more than before because, they could become an internet celebrity.
Yeah, but you already had it happen.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Lucky, who was it?
That won the title?
Yeah. Who was a celebrity before he joined the Federation?
You got me.
The Miz.
Yeah, and I felt like that wasn't capitalized. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. Yeah. But it wasn't capitalized because the internet. I mean, the internet was still a little bit fresh because he came from the Road Rules. And I felt that if the internet was present in the capacity it is today, they really could have captured the shit that they were saying to the Miz. And that's why I have so much respect for him, because they were telling him, dude, you're not going to fucking make it. You're not going to make it. And he overcame.
But No, the point is there is someone who did it.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
you're absolutely right. No, the Miz totally did it. I
Yeah.
think, I didn't, I totally spaced on that. Yeah, the Miz sure did.
because that's how good he is. He transitioned himself from being known as a reality star to being a WWE star.
Yeah,
Just as The Rock went from being a wrestler to an actor, right? Those are the two, I think, clearest examples of clear successes from going from a wrestler to celebrity and from celebrity to wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it also just boils down to how much do you want it. I mean, if you want it that bad and you're willing to sacrifice and just take it step by step until you reach your goal, you can do it. And I think this documentary clearly showed Arquette's heart, not only as a fan, which I think we got a chance to see a glimpse of, unless you really followed Arquette and that was your dude from way back when, how much of a fan he was. I think I identified a small part with him as I would myself. Like, I'm a fan that honestly, I have a discontent with just watching wrestling. Like, I would love to take it the next step. It's hard for me to watch and be like, man, I would really like to do it. Not because, I can be just like the people on TV. I'd want to start from the very, very bottom and work my way up. I could identify with them. And I think there's other people who watch that and maybe feel the same way. He might have inspired some people.
Do you not think he was trying to, in many ways, trying to prove himself at this age now? And if that's the case, like, why is that so important? I mean, he had health issues. Clearly, he could have done more damage to himself to do what? To now make fans go, all right, I like David Arquette now.
It's the passion.
I don't even think it was that. It was redemption. He wanted to right a wrong.
Yeah.
He wanted to right a wrong.
I think, to be honest, is he wasn't getting work.
Well, he did mention that. He said 10 years is a long time not getting work.
I mean, he wasn't getting the type of work he was getting once. And so what do? You do a couple things. You can, do something that in one eyes will make it look like you're reinventing yourself, and then you can make a film about that. And hopefully that draws attention while you're doing it, and then when it comes out. So, the project is giving him a nice amount of publicity now, because that's what your ultimate goal is, right? The goal is not to, be a full-time championship wrestler. His goal is to make himself known, to make himself liked again, to, correct his image in some eyes, to make people look at him this way or that way, and to sell his product again.
Well, I was going to ask a question. Did anybody know or research or find out with Arquette, is he getting movie roles now? Because I've been hearing too many rumors from the timeline that coincides with the documentary that Scream, I don't know which one to be, Scream 4, I'm thinking, is definitely a go once COVID is over, and he's definitely in it. Not coming back as a cyborg, but he's definitely going to be in it. I wonder, did this documentary pay dividends toward that? I'm just curious. I just want. No, you don't think so? Maybe not. I don't know.
No, it didn't mention that at all. Oh, you mean toward how?
No, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's hard to say, because it would be different if you got something that was like, a lead role
in a Marvel movie.
Something, or something like that. Scream's already an established franchise in which he has an association with, and if he's not playing the same character, there's a good chance that he'll actually be playing David Arquette, who played that character in the original movie. How it works its thread through. So, they'll figure out a way. Obviously, if he's in, they figured a clever way to get him in. So,
do you think this documentary benefits him moving forward in the future, whether he wants to stay in wrestling, whatever capacity? Or
I would tell you this: I believe he's waiting for that call from Tony Khan. That's what I believe.
Oh, you mean T-shirt and short wearing Tony out at the table that we just money on
catching that money.
I think probably he would be waiting for that call too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might,
All right,
you might
y'all.
have a better opportunity with that company. I'll be real with you.
If you haven't got a chance to view it yet, definitely take a look at it. If you're a wrestling fan, I think you will enjoy it.
But you missed one huge thing though, really
Sure.
quick. The biggest question to me was, Simon, were the girls you were with, did they fall
Fucking
asleep while you
gosh.
were watching this?
Oh my gosh, can we stop with that
The
narrative,
Jell-O, the
man?
pudding pops.
No, absolutely not. I actually watched the documentary by myself. Full disclosure for anybody watching: do not hang out with high school girls at all. Not even remotely close. I don't own a
Unless you're in high
compound.
school.
No, I don't own a compound with buckets in the background. I don't do any of that type of weird
Oh,
behavior.
boy.
Oh,
All
man.
right,
boy.
Simon Epstein.
Okay,
Oh my God, stop.
guys, again, we want to recommend this movie to all of you. You Cannot Kill David Arquette. It's on all the video demands, or at least the most popular ones: Amazon, Apple, Google. Rent it, enjoy it. I'm sure you will. And who knows, we may see him pop up somewhere, right? So that is our 3 count. We thank everyone for hanging out with us in the live video. You can always join when we start the show, and when we see possible, we will read those comments out as well. And with that, that is our 3 count. Thanks for listening.
All right, and whenever you're ready to move on, just let us know and we shall start.
All righty. $30 seconds. Or booyah, let's do it. All righty. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got the Bad Boys here with me, and we're going to jump right into our wrestling talk, which there was a lot of wrestling, as you can imagine, going on this week, and we got to talk about it. And we start off every week with the first show, Monday Night Raw, with our very own King Lucky. Tell us, man, what you thought of the show, some of the highlights, some questions you got, or what you're getting hyped for. Let's do it.
Yeah. This week's show was an interesting one, right?
Okay.
I thought Keith Lee came off as a little heelish during the show. In thinking about it too, and I know it's probably a ways away because he's been introduced as a baby face, and that's pretty much all it has been. But I wouldn't mind seeing Keith Lee further down the road in the Hurt Business. I think he would make it. I think he would make a suitable replacement.
Get Lashley out of there and put him in.
Yeah, I'm down with it. Like when as we talked about, if Lashley goes over to SmackDown, then you get Keith Lee in the Hurt Business. So I think some seeds were kind of planted, especially when he said, "I don't care about his jaw, stuff like this. I'll kind of do what I got to do."
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere, I thought the spots with the flickering lights for Retribution is getting old. It's just becoming redundant every week. That's how you're going to finish the matches. So I'm over it. I really enjoyed Mickey versus Asuka, but Jesus Christ, what happened? What happened? Interestingly enough, Yes, you shake your head.
What happened? You just said what happened.
Yeah,
It was totally. I mean, I think they ran out of time, and they just flubbed it, and left everybody wondering whether she was really injured or not, or what happened.
Left everybody.
What did you think happened?
I'm assuming that what was planned to happen happened, because if they left everybody thinking that something was wrong, that was probably meant to happen. Have you ever watched wrestling?
I've watched wrestling a long time.
Okay.
I would say that was a good match, though.
It was.
Apparently, Mr. Booker, though, didn't like the ending. That was
I didn't.
show.
I didn't. Yeah. I thought that interestingly enough, I got more Dominic Mysterio on my TV on Monday.
You didn't like it? You're not feeling them?
Not feeling the Mysterio family beat up?
Well, listen, you know what? Strip the family away. But you know what? The young man's got to earn his stripes. I'm down with that. Let him wrestle.
I think he's doing okay. I think he's. I know
blow this whole thing off already.
Why?
I think he's doing okay.
Why?
I mean,
because you're bored or something.
I'm definitely bored with the angle. I'm over it.
Oh,
but I did find it interesting that Aaliyah went and checked on Murphy, and I thought that kind of planted a little seed there. So we'll have to see if they develop that. And then lastly, I wonder if Lana took that ass whooping because of Miro's comments on AEW. Dude, she just got wrecked. And then also, he must have been hot after seeing Garza flirt with his wife, and he's not there no more. I'll leave the good meat, which is the end of the show, for you guys.
The good meat.
Yeah, the good meat.
Good meat.
Well, at least he didn't say, I'm going to leave the meats for you.
The meats with the men's.
No, man. How dare you?
So you think that Rusev actually got mad because of the fact that there was a scripted wrestler who had to flirt with his wife?
Hell yeah.
Oh, shut
I'd be
the
mad.
fuck up.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ. He's in a fucking
Worry
storyline.
about that.
And here, fuck off, man. That's why we can't make this show PG shows, because you're dumbass. Makes you say fuck.
Whatever.
look, the only thing I'll say about Raw, I threw a question out there. So when I throw questions out to myself, I'm trying to figure out something. I guess the lights flickered, which we assume is retribution, right? Helping KO, against the Aleister Black. So I'm asking, why did the lights flicker, especially that retribution didn't show? So I'm kind of wondering, is there a possibility of a connection there, given that went off the KO? I just threw it out there. I don't know. I mean, it was just kind of lights flickered. He got the match over him, and it was just left. So I'm just kind of wondering, is there something there?
That's something that maybe is throwing you away from the obvious. If KO is the obvious, wouldn't the smart thing be Aleister Black behind the whole thing?
Aha!
Okay. Well, either way, something between their match and those lights, I'm thinking then, I'll take it. I'll say that then between that. But yeah, it could be that way as well. But that was the only thing I'll throw out there from WWE. I mean, doing Raw that I picked up. Was there anything else anybody want to talk about on there?
Yeah, there was a couple of kind of cool things that I didn't expect. First of all, the interaction between Zelina Vega and Asuka, I thought that was kind of interesting. If anybody's ever had an opportunity to watch Zelina Vega, if you watched, TNA back in the day, she got some skillers, in the ring. She ain't no slouch. And it's interesting that, she would go in and say that, Asuka's not ready for Zelina, or did say she's ready for Asuka, however you want to put it. I thought that was interesting. What was you guys' take on that? Because it kind of threw me off. Maybe it's just me.
They
But I was
needed
kinda
an
like-
opponent for Asuka to squash.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. That's the obvious. Like Matt Michaels is saying, right? That's the obvious. So why choose Zelina Vega to totally get squashed? Is that because they ain't really trying
No,
to?
I think Vince rewarding her is what it is
What, an
because
ass
she's
whooping?
done. Well, she's done so well. She probably wants to wrestle, and she hasn't really been showcased. She'll be able to get some TV time, but that's all I think it is.
Okay. All right. I got you. Well, I also want to say too, one thing that stood out to me too, which I thought was cool, was Raw Underground. Braun Strowman just smashing through everybody. Although two people kept coming back, Dolph Ziggler and what's his name again? The guy with the long hair that looks like he was in Last of the Mohicans. What's his name?
He'll be on Raw.
He's going to be very much on Raw. But he, I thought it was cool. Just showing just him wrecking the crap. I liked how, just it's interesting because what kind of version of Braun Strowman are we getting?
By the way, I'm just gonna say that when he was standing right next to the security at the door, Braun looked like a little kid. That security guard is huge, man.
Yeah, but Braun punked him. Braun punked him though. He said, did he say something about put my foot in your ass or something? I don't know what he said.
I don't know about
all
all that.
The shit out of him. Who you think will win? Who you think will win? Security dude?
Dude, that dude looks. He
probably can't wrestle.
Well, he probably can't. But if
he might be like another Kali.
If he asks for my lunch money, I'm gonna give it to him. That's all I'm saying. He can have it. I'm giving it to him.
You gonna punk out, ain't you?
Take it, brother.
If Gary Coleman asked you for your lunch money, you give it.
Anyways,
too much.
Well, I would too.
I have to ask a question about the Raw Underground segment, though.
Mm-hmm.
How many times does Riddick Moss have to have his dick knocked in the dirt until he's satisfied about it?
Yeah.
He just pops up like 3 times, gets his ass beat all 3 times, and all right, whatever. I'll just go and hang out.
Ziggler helped
slap
him.
on the apron a little bit.
Hey, the third time Ziggler helped him, and he still got his ass.
Right.
Oh man. So apparently, I guess out of that, it's gonna be Braun Strowman and what's his name? Dabadoodoo. What's his name? What's his name? The young boy.
The fact that we don't know his name is a big deal.
No. I'm gonna look it up because it is Dabba-Kato.
Dabba-Kato.
There you go, Dabba-Kato. My bad, Dabba-Kato. I whoop my ass. I'm just saying. That's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens with that.
Hey, Dabba-Kato, that's not the worst thing he said about you. So feel free to kick his ass.
No shit.
Anything else, fellas, y'all want to throw in there about Raw?
Yeah. Well, clearly the ending.
Yeah.
We'll throw it in there. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Retribution, they pretty much just squashed them at the end of the show. I mean, fuck it. Just why would they all be laid out at the end? I would rather see everybody else laid out, them standing over them. And then people keep bringing up the fact that nobody's ever tried to unmask these people. Like, it's just not believable,
Jesus Christ, it's wrestling. Fuck off.
No, I suspend all disbelief. Listen, do what I do.
You know what, Lucky? You know what's funny?
This shit ain't fucking good, man.
Hey, Lucky,
Wow.
You talk about masks coming off. One of them almost lost their fucking mask.
Right.
On Monday Night Raw.
It was an unintentional.
He's trying to put it back on.
Yeah, I don't know. That piece of business. I mean, I was enjoying the show, but it's all goofy.
They need to unmask real soon.
I'll tell you what, I do like when the arena blacks out and their names are all over the video boards. I would like to see, quite honestly, them have some sort of logo instead of the name Retribution. Like, if you're this huge, big ass, badass faction, I don't want to see your name. I want to see your logo, and then you just
Yeah,
come out and
because
beat the shit.
people really will just identify the logo if they haven't even heard about it yet.
Well, I will be honest with you. I love the ending when the Hurt Business came out with their phenomenal, awesome music, and they came out just said, "We ain't gonna take this shit no more. Knuckle up, come get some." And I was excited about that.
They did look strong. Yeah,
and they was already talking about it through the show. Like, hey, if you got this retribution problem, why don't you elicit our service? Again, goes back to why I like this faction. It's about business. You know what I'm saying? We in for the business. We in for not just the accolades. We in for the business. And I
what
like
if they're the ones behind Retribution?
Hey, that's still business at the end of the day, bro. Because if I'm creating monsters for me to slay, that's profit.
I don't care about you. I'm asking Mr. I hate Retribution.
The only way out of this thing, and somebody brought it up, is that if Shane was behind the whole fucking deal, and ultimately,
let me guess. And then what we do, all right, is we fly this plane into the Death Star and it shoots and the thing explodes. Come on.
No, but ultimately, if Retribution takes out Vince and he never is seen on TV again.
Oh, we know that's not going to fucking happen. Vince will be dead in the ground and he's still going to find a way to be back on the show.
His hand will pop up out of the grave. And
exactly.
Shit.
Yeah. It's probably Vince behind Retribution.
They probably could. He'd be like, I created this shit. I'll destroy it.
Steve he's less entertained with these fucking theories. Vince McMahon is behind it.
Oh, man. That's just good. Yeah, Raw was cool.
All right, Joe. Well,
cool is definitely not the word I would use to describe it.
What cool was that? Was that too low on the totem pole or too high on it?
Too high on the totem pole.
Okay. For him.
Is I?
It was 3 hours of my life I can't get back.
Hey, isn't that every week though? Isn't it every week?
Pretty much.
Add those two AEW hours on top of that. That's 5 hours this week.
Exactly.
Damn.
Oh man, it's gonna be rough press for all these shows. It seems, man.
All right, well, let's jump over to Impact Wrestling. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that. I entertained myself with 2 hours of that show.
You entertained yourself.
Hello.
Was that with or without lotion?
Anyways,
you entertained.
He was trying to make an impact.
So yeah, let's just clarify this. Impact entertained Impact while watching Impact.
It's like a bad porn movie with Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. It's just horrible all the way around.
It reminds me of the film Deep Impact.
Okay, so it started off. There was a match with Kylie Ray and Susie versus Deanna Purrazzo and Kimber Lee. And Susie ended up winning that match, but it seemed like she was starting to do a lot of jerking and shaking, and apparently, well, not that way. It was in a scary way. It looks
lotion,
like
guys.
Seems like Su Yung is trying to creep back and take Susie back over. So everyone's trying to keep Su Yung from coming out, and Kylie Ray was helping to contain that image. So it's still Susie for now.
So hold on, she's trying to turn her by putting hands on her. What did you say?
I said all that.
Well, no. You said who was turning who. I just wanted to hear that because
okay. Well, Kylie Ray was just pretty much trying to contain Susie to stay Susie instead of turning into Su Yung. Yeah, that was her tag team partner. There is another wedding that is coming up, of course. Wrestling
because
love their weddings. So, but this has been going on for a while. But apparently, Bravo needed a best man because Tasha Skills and Kiera Hogan wanted to be his best man, and he wouldn't allow it. So walks in from the parking lot with Fallah Bahh, and he said, "No, Fallah Bahh's my best man." So I guess Fallah Bahh's now the best man for Bravo's wedding that is that's coming up later on. Rich Swann, which we all know did a retirement message, came back, and he brought Scott D'Amore to the ring and said, "Look, I'm the only one who could take out this guy, Eric Young, because I beat him before. and you gotta let me in. I know my foot's messed up, but it's gonna be ready by Bound to Glory, which is in October. I just need you to let me do this. And Scott D'Amore, of course, saying, nah, this ain't gonna happen, until Eric Young popped up, knocked down Scott D'Amore, and that pissed off Scott enough to tell Rich, yeah, I'm gonna give you that match. For Bound for Glory will be a championship match between Rich Swann and Eric Young. So pretty good storyline for that. The segment that I enjoyed the most, EC3 is still being taunted by Moose is still being taunted by EC3, and he has his TNA title. And hey, EC3 is telling him, look, if you don't find me, I'm gonna destroy this thing. So Moose gets on his phone, and this is exactly what he says. Hello, Demo God. This is Moose, the wrestling god. I need a favor. Remember when you won that title and it got stolen from you on the first night? From one god to another. How did you handle that? He says, oh, brother, thanks a lot. And next time, the bubbly is on me. So that was the phone conversation that he had. That was pretty.
Man, Moose is good.
Hey, he is. So that was pretty good. Rhino is still sneaking Heath in the building when he's not supposed to be in there. And now Heath even ran off and stole Hernandez's money. So I don't know if Hernandez know that yet, but it's not going to be a good look for him.
Hernandez, dude. he's fucking huge. Everybody steals his money.
Yeah, I know, right? Tenille was doing a photo shoot, and Jordan Grace popped up and just pretty much asked her why she's not showing up for work, because she's, Jordan,
the way you say it, why you ain't showing up to work?
Jordan's ready to whip on that ass, but Tenille keeps avoiding it. So she said, look, next week you need to show up to work so I can get in there. So it's going to be a match for next week, which I'm looking to see. Jordan Grace and Tenille.
It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, there was a match also with Taya Valkyrie and Kiera Hogan, which Kiera ended up winning that particular match. And there's going to be, now our boy Raheem, man, he's just, since he's been the X Division title, he's been doing everything to keep that title. So he's been telling Chris Bay, look, man, you need to fight DJP. And then DJP wins. And then he tells, DJP's like, all right, now give me a title. DJP's like, no, man, you need to fight Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel wins. And now he says, hey, it's my time to now have the champion. He just keeps putting everyone on everyone. So now it's going to become a triple threat match between Trey, TJP, and Chris Bay. And finally, the winner of that will finally get a match for the X Division title, which, Raheem's been doing a very good job holding on to since he got it. And that was pretty much it, man. There was an 8-man tag team with the North and Ace Austin, Madman Fulton versus the Good Brothers and Motor City Machine. So it was a good match there, but not the storyline with that. But overall, a great show, entertaining. Moose won that one for me. I enjoyed that phone conversation. He played that off real well. And I love Jordan Grace again. She just ran up on Tenille's photo shoot and asked her why she ain't showing up to work. Good stuff. I can't wait for next week. And that is Impact Wrestling. Let's move over to WWE NXT, where we're going to start with our good old Simon Street. Tell us the highlights from the show, man, that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy or whatever.
Well, I can tell you this, NXT did not disappoint, at least for me, that is. NXT started off with a non-title match with Shotzi Blackheart and Io Shirai, and it started off really competitive. It was a lot of, like counters and near falls.
Didn't watch this.
I did watch it. You do this every fucking week. No.
Getting a list and going, oh yeah, they threw it.
So at the end of the day, I don't have notes here that I take when I watch the show. Michael's, if there was a mute button, this would be the time I would mute you. I'm above such tomfoolery, so I will continue. Anywho,
Yeah.
so I really enjoyed the match because I actually had a conversation with Impact. Was it 3 weeks?
But I'm not above the tomfoolery.
Fucking got him.
Oh, he's got a sign for you. He's in audio jail.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Anyways, let me finish since I'm trying to tell you SmackDown. I'm not SmackDown, NXT. So NXT was amazing. I enjoyed it. I had a conversation with Impact a long time ago how I go all in on Shotzi Blackheart. I like Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, that match.
I think that she does have something to offer, and this match proved it. It proved that you can put her probably, most likely, and I'm bearing to say, in these high-profile matches. She can hold her own. She's entertaining. She has the personality inside and outside of the ring, and it showed. She was able to keep, for the most part, yes, in the beginning, but then, it came to the part where Shirai was kind of dominating, doing that, toward the end, she did her moonsault where Shotzi got all the knees, all the knees.
No shit.
And, rolled up 1, 2, 3. But, a lot of respect, mutual respect toward the end between these two. So I'm interested to see what NXT is going to do in the future with Shotzi Blackheart. Super excited for her. I think that this momentum will serve her well. The next match, which I really didn't want to comment on it because I was wondering why was it even on the card, but damn, Desmond Troy totally got demolished by Tommaso Ciampa. I was like, what the fuck?
You need to keep Ciampa on TV, man.
Well, it did serve a purpose because at the end of it all, you had Jake Atlas that came out, and which I was a little surprised with, not because of him, just like it came out of nowhere. And, he basically was, serving Tommaso Ciampa the business. And so I was kind of like, okay, all right, I hope this goes because I like Jake Atlas. I think he's a really great competitor, and I'd like to see NXT do something with him. So we'll see what happens in the future.
But the match, promo.
Yeah, it was a good promo too.
Yeah.
The one match that I really, really liked was, with, I was about to call him his old name. It was Damian Priest, North American champion, and Timothy Thatcher. Excellent match. I will say this going towards Timothy Thatcher. I've seen him in so many different matches now to where, again, shame on Simon Street saying that when he first came on, I was bored. No, Timothy Thatcher.
You sound like King Lucky.
No. I'm being a man and calling myself out. Long time ago, I said I wasn't interested in him. I'm dead fucking wrong. He is amazing to watch. And again, it shows like how he can really make matches look great. And this match was amazing with Damian Priest, especially when Damian Priest did that spinning heel kick off the top rope. I thought that was pretty interesting. It just was a really, really good match. Of course, Damian Priest still, wins victoriously. It's a couple of good matches. Some stuff that I wasn't too interested in, the Damian Drake and Killian Dane, although I thought it was cute that Killian was laughing at him getting his ass. Killian Dane.
No.
You said Damian Drake.
Oh, my bad.
You're foreshadowing a little
I didn't
bit,
say
okay?
my bad.
Put the cart in front of the horses.
My bad. But I meant to say Maverick Drake. I'm sorry, Maverick Drake. Killian Dane. I wasn't interested. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds actually better. I wasn't interested. No, I wasn't interested in it at first, but I thought it was cool how he was laughing at Maverick getting his ass rough shot. And William Regals said much of the same thing that Impact you were saying happened to Impact. That's your tag team partner. You should go to work. And so, he went out there, and I like to see what's going to happen with that tag team. And if it is called, what would the tag team be called? If it is, and what did I say earlier? Because I messed up on the name. Was it Killian Drake? That would be a cool name for their tag team, Killian Drake. It has a ring to it. But I'll leave a little bit later for some of you guys. I mean, there were some highlights. Tag team championship, Breezango, victorious over Imperium. I appreciate that these studs still have it. I was very interested to see them do well, But anyways, I'll leave the rest to you guys.
Yeah, that was the show. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
said it all. It was good.
You pulled a King Lucky.
No, there's some other stuff on there.
You pulled a King Lucky. You did an
No,
entire
no,
show
man.
recap unto yourself.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't purposely trying to do that. It's just the show really excited. I was really excited to watch
Well,
Well, at
NXT,
least
That-
we
It was a good show.
and
At
I
least
was
we know he
excited.
watched, and he had notes.
You missed the best part, though. The best part was the fact that Gargano and Candice LeRae have not come out of their bedroom
Yeah.
because Eddie is still down there.
Yes,
That's awesome.
I love it.
What is that,
Absolutely.
Sin City Steve? Continuity, baby.
That is continuity right there.
That is.
1000%.
Anything else y'all want to talk about on there?
No, Simon, like I said, Simon
Okay.
I have
did a
one
show
more note.
recap.
I have
All right.
one more note.
All right,
What's
one more,
going
go
on with Xia Li?
Sure.
What's going on with Xia Li? Because at the end of her match, everybody was being cordial, handshaking, and Xia Li did
Character
something definitely
development,
out of
bro.
character. I know it's character development. I'm interested to see where it goes because she's badassery.
I agree.
In that ring, her kicks hurt, I'm sure. So I'd
Mhm.
like to see what happens if she's in heel form.
Yeah, you
That's
can
all.
ask Aaliyah about that.
That's all I have. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't
All right,
leave
all right.
meat on the bone. I'm sorry.
Honestly, NXT was a very good show across the board. I mean, nothing was glaringly bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, look,
the
let me-
best show of the week.
Well, look, let me jump over here then to AEW, and I gotta tell you, Sin City, I enjoyed the first 5 minutes,
Wow.
and that was it. I enjoyed only the first 5 minutes, and I was because it was different. I love
Wow.
I love watching how the camera went backstage. I got a glimpse of Tony there, and then it followed them over to the other side of the entrance, and then when when FTR walked out, I was like, well, that's it.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying, that was that was my highlight of the entire show. But since
Oh man, if you would have stuck around for another like 55 minutes, you would have gotten to see Best Friends and Orange Cassidy drive away in the Best Friends mom's van.
With the finger,
The finger.
the maternal finger.
This is quality wrestling.
It was a good street fight. It was way better than a Samoan street fight that apparently had to end in a ring.
Yeah, that street fight was one of the better street fights that I can remember.
Sin City, go, man.
All right. So yeah, I mean, as far as that, the main event was awesome. Like I said, I think that across the board, the capabilities that everybody brought to the table were fully showcased. I mean, you even had the comedy spots worked in and all that kind of stuff. The thing that is kind of I don't want to say frustrating about it is that it was a shot in one take cinematic match. And if we're going to compare this match to other cinematic matches, as accordingly, as everybody loves to make lists, I think that this one is not the best by any stretch. And I honestly think that it being in a cinematic style almost took away from it a slight bit. But yeah, the action in that match was a lot of fun. Also, you had Thunder Rosa and Ivelisse. That match was phenomenal. I think that it cannot be stated just how much progress AEW is making with their women's division with these signings. And the worst part is that Thunder Rosa isn't even signed to the brand. And arguably, she's the best women's wrestler on the roster.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm curious to see what kind of, talent swap or whatnot is going to end up happening with NWA. And hopefully they'll continue that. So, MJF, fucking just beating the shit out of jobbers in like 5 seconds. It's good because I was worried how they were going to write him as, you know, rebounding from the loss and things. But I think that I think that they're doing better than what I thought, to be honest. So, and then obviously I'm not Simon Street, so I'm not going to talk the entire fucking show.
Sorry, I got excited.
I will say that AEW was probably my favorite show of the week this week, and I'll tell you why. They had the time. So most people consider NXT the steak and AEW the sizzle, but I thought AEW this week. Oh yeah, I thought AEW this week really meshed both, and they had really good wrestling. I mean, you start off with Kazarian and Page. I thought that match was good. I thought Private Party versus Jericho and Hager was good. Then you mentioned it earlier, Eva Lise and Thunder Rosa. You know, so overall, I thought they had it mixing. Now, the parking lot brawl to me delivered. Best friends, I was like, man, these guys have been getting their ass kicked for the last couple of months. They look like fucking dweebs rolling around in mom's minivan. But when the trunk opened up,
still fucking do.
Listen, all right. They looked good in this. And the trunk opened up.
Yeah, they look good until they drove off in a fucking minivan with the fucking.
Listen, no, man. Hey, and Orange Cassidy helped out. They won. And mom throwing the middle finger at the end fucking popped me. I loved it. I thought it was a good show.
You know what I liked about the show?
I agree.
I like that the stuff leading up that they trickled into the show. They talked about MJF, if y'all guys caught it, about he basically stated the obvious that we stated a long time ago, was AEW is good at factions. They have a lot of factions. And he said, hey, seems like the only way I can get stuff done around here is to join a faction. If I choose to do so, ? And then you had later on, you had the Murder Hawk and, Jake the Snake. They are going to combine forces. With excuse me, and we're going to see some things come with that as well. So I like
another pointless fucking faction.
That would be a pointless faction.
But see, here's the thing, though.
The only way that it wouldn't be is when they announce their trios championship.
Well, I was going to say that faction is easily a setup disposable, because what's going to happen is let's say. Archer wins kills Moxley. Let's just say if he does, damn well that's perfect opportunity for Cage to go in and take it from him. That's what Taz was serving up. So it's a disposable, convenient faction is what I saw it served up as. It was interesting what Kingston was talking about. We're not a faction. We're a family. We're a family of violence.
Yeah, I still think he's better served somewhere else.
You're not sold on. I like Kingston.
No. I'm sold on. Yeah, I'm sold on him, and I like his work.
Booking shit because he has so much experience in booking.
Yeah. Hey, I've been watching him for many moons. Okay, but I think he's better served somewhere else in the program.
What do you mean? I mean, I think he's
somewhere else.
Quite well suited where he is right now.
Yeah,
I've been more interested in seeing Butcher and the Blade, and at least better off seeing the Lucha Brothers in this capacity than what they were before.
Butcher and the Blade, yes. Lucha Bros, I mean, I think they do well by themselves.
Oh, what the fuck? Come on.
Get them.
Lucha Bros.
It was a good show. I liked AEW. I actually made good on what I talked about last week, and I watched AEW Dark and was impressed. And the truth is in the pudding. I actually enjoyed AEW that much more because I watched AEW Dark.
Wow. So
I will be completely honest. So again, Simon Street was wrong.
I need to add
Simon Street
is in the pudding.
Simon Street.
Yes.
What was in the pudding?
The truth.
Okay.
I would say other things, but I don't know what Bill Cosby calls it. But the truth is in the pudding.
You're telling me
saying.
Huh?
Saying.
It's my saying, God damn it. I'm the one that make the sayings around this motherfucker. If it's a beaver, it's a beaver. The truth is in the pudding.
No, it's not a beaver, it's a beaver. It's two different fucking words. One is called truth, which is not right, and one is called proof.
It's the
which
truth.
is the thing that's actually in the pudding.
It don't matter. Simon Street says it's the truth. God damn it. Next.
Oh my God.
Do I have to add another wrestling show to my agenda? Will you keep talking about Dark?
Why not? That's only an hour.
I'm not going to do it.
All right. I would assume nothing less.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect you to watch it.
According to
you can barely watch Dynamite.
You know,
yeah, if you think Dynamite, the first 5 minutes of Dynamite was the only good thing. And don't waste time watching Dark.
And according to our mutual friend Raven, the best thing is actually BTE? Is that what it's called? Yeah, he said that's actually elite. He says that's actually the only thing that's better. So I should maybe start there and not even touch Dynamite.
Hey, you know what?
Of course, you're gonna listen to Raven when he's speaking about AEW.
I'm just joking. I don't.
I'm sure he has said that.
No, he did say that. No, he really did say that. He did say BT's the best.
and so I'm not always one to toot my own horn, but toot motherfuckers. It was just last week that I mentioned Mr. Brody Lee and Orange Cassidy. I put that out there. To be 100% honest, I came up with the name. I came up with Cassidy's name just right out of my ass. And then fast forward to Dynamite this week, they make the fucking match.
Mm-hmm. You want to know why? Because the truth was in the
Orange
pudding.
Cassidy. That truth is in the fucking pudding.
There you go. Came straight out your ass, that pudding. But the truth is there.
All
right, you guys.
I still have absolutely no interest in seeing those two against each other, just like I did 1 week ago.
All right, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it and watch like some other shit.
Listen,
just watch Golden Girls or some shit.
I'm with Matt Michaels on this one. I don't know if it's the time and place for it. Maybe in the future, but I don't know how they booked themselves out of this one. So I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. I'm gonna be watching it, but I just don't see it.
You mean so you don't see the TNT champion defending his championship against the person that draws the highest rating on the network, TNT?
Yeah. And I don't know what else you do with them at this point.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I gotcha. And your favorite show of the week is Raw.
Yeah.
Good call.
City Steve, I got a question for you.
What's up?
So now that I'm being smart like you and watching Dark, there was one person that stood out, and I can't answer why I think something's missing, but she could be decent. It was Rochelle Chanel.
Oh no, fuck.
It was weird because at first I thought, okay, like what the hell is this? But for some weird reason, something was interesting about it.
Yeah. Anyway,
thank you.
There you go. Thank you. That one was warranted because I don't know.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm not with you.
No. I was saying it in a good way. I was saying like something interesting is about her. I don't know what it was because normally if it's trash,
yeah, I hit the mute button again. There's more deserving women than her.
Oh my god,
in the world.
Oh my gosh, like you guys never said.
It's almost like as if that mute button has diminishing returns. It feels like every time that you put him on mute, it lasts for like half the length of time.
But the funny thing
in all actuality, it should last double the length of time.
But here's the thing, Sin City Steve, it's good that you mentioned who was getting muted because Michael's for the longest time has been muting people. Our podcast listeners don't know what the fuck is going on.
No, they know when they're not hearing you.
You're such a fucking ass clown.
Let's jump over then.
That's a drop.
Oh, boy.
There's no truth in your asshole. It's just all open lies.
Viewing here.
Let's jump over to our final show, WWE SmackDown. And Matt Michaels, tell us what you enjoyed from that show or disliked.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of stands out, doesn't it? Here's the thing. They're setting up for a pay-per-view, and yet, I mean, the only good thing was the announcing of Sammy and Jeff and AJ. That should be fucking great. But really, if you look at it overall, it's just like, I don't know. it's nothing to really get excited about going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Really,
I mean, nothing else on the show that stood out to you?
No, not really, dude. I mean, honestly, no. I mean, what? Listen, the Otis thing's done. Just kind of fucking just give him the title shot or fucking get over it. You know, that thing is just played out. It was cool to see Miz and his fucking jockeys. That was pretty funny shit. And then he didn't notice his pants were off. Morrison had to point it out to him that he had no clothes on. That's good shit. Definitely. But outside of that, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, okay. So Sasha got beat up again. What else is new? I mean, she's such a fucking wish-washy person. She can't take it. Obviously.
Oh Lord. Easy now, Michaels. Damn.
I'm just
The
saying,
disrespect that
think-
comes out of your
I
asshole.
think I know where we're going next.
Man.
Simon, the floor is
Listen,
yours.
Oh my. I'm just gonna let this buffoonery continue.
That spot was a good spot. I think Sasha should be off of TV for a little bit now.
Mhm.
If you didn't do it, I was surprised that they had her back on so fast. But now this clearly makes it that she's going to be off TV for a little bit and then get traded to Raw.
I think he goes to NXT first.
Oh, I like that. I
You
like
would.
that. Yeah.
You would.
Oh, I do. I don't have a problem with it.
I know.
But no, I think she's written off of TV now. I'll say that I enjoyed this whole thing with Alexa Bliss. I mean, just anytime she hears Fiend, she just turns into a whole nother person. I think some way she finds a way to cost Nikki Cross the title at the pay-per-view, and they end up in a feud. For a
fucking brain surgery.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. And then also
Finds a way to cost her the title.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also I thought that the Roman Reigns package, the promo package, was just outstanding.
Were you crying?
No, I didn't cry on that.
So just to recap for our listeners, you just said that Roman Reigns' package was outstanding.
The video package. Yes, you can
not
play
that
on
there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, man, I mean,
Just point it out.
Whatever.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah. Sure.
He did call him the big dog the other day.
And
Big dog with the big hog.
Their ass is his yard. How about that?
His ass
Let's just
is
tie it
his-
all in a bow.
Whoa. Do you want some one-on-one time with Roman on his island?
This
Well,
is my yard and my island.
I will say I definitely enjoyed how the show ended with, Jay and Roman having that moment, and then eventually as Jay walking up, Roman giving him that look of I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really they ended that really well. So good job on that whole build, and I hope it turns out to be as good as it's looking right now. But anything else, man, from the show you guys want to touch base on? That pretty much hit it.
The only thing I will say is that it makes sense to have Sasha off of TV because with the Mandalorian season 2 coming out, she's actually, from what I'm hearing, in 3 episodes, which is big. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know with how COVID is and how you do PR appearances. I'm assuming that still kind of goes on or whatever, but I'm sure she's going to be on radio talk shows or whatever, talking about that because they made a big deal out of it whenever they showed the trailer. So kudos, shots to her. And when she does come back, Bayley getting that ass handed to her.
Yeah. Okay. At least we hope, right?
Yeah. Outside the regular shows we cover, I thought Primetime Live was very good show. I watched that this week, and
What is Primetime Live?
yeah, Primetime Live. let me enlighten you. So basically, it's a partnership with NWA and oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Dave Marquez.
Thank you. Sorry. Jeez. Anyway, but this is their creation. It's a clean show, great matches. Hammerstone was on there this week. They've got some good matches coming up this Tuesday. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we do have Clash of Champions that's going to take place next Sunday. And we're just going to quickly go over who we think is going to win these matches. So
Prediction time.
Prediction time. And don't try to change your prediction, because once it's on audio, we can play it back and call you a liar.
That's right, sure.
So how are we gonna do it? Just say yes or no, who we're picking, no explanations?
Just pick
That
your
way.
name. Yeah, no, you have to go into no explanation unless
Cool.
you just really feel you have to.
Nope, I'm not. I'm
No.
only gonna say the name. I'm only saying the name.
All right.
Thank
So
God.
So for our WWE Championship, is it Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton? Let's go, King Lucky.
I'm gonna go Randy Orton.
Randy, okay. Simon Street.
Drew McIntyre.
Sin City.
McIntyre.
Matt Michaels.
Unfortunately, McIntyre.
He's your boy.
Yeah, and I'm going for McIntyre as well. So it looks like Randy's got one on his team. How about for the Intercontinental Championship? Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn, King Lucky. Jeff, okay. Simon Street.
Sami Zayn.
Sammy, okay. Sin City.
Sami Zayn.
Matt Michaels.
If they're fucking gonna listen to all the marks, I'd say do Sami Zayn. It would be a smart move.
Okay. I agree with Sammy too. Man, King Lucky, you're the one that's choosing the different ones today.
Yeah.
Now, how about this one? The SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Who you got, King?
Bayley.
All right. Simon Street.
I'm gonna go with Bayley.
All right. Sin City.
Bailey.
And Michaels.
Unfortunately, Nikki Cross.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Setting up maybe Alexa and Cross for the title. Maybe the Fiend wants the ladies championship too for himself.
Interesting. Okay. And I would choose Bayley as well. Let's go with the Women's Tag Team Championship, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad. King Lucky.
Retain.
All right. Sin City.
Retain.
Simon Street.
Riot Squad.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Break those girls up already?
Interesting. Matt Michaels.
Here's the thing that hurts. When he gets that right, we're all gonna have to eat shit.
Yep.
Damn, why would I guess. I mean,
I'm not explaining it. I said the name. That's all I'm going.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, but I just wouldn't think it would happen this.
What'd you say there, Michaels?
Oh yeah, I said we're all gonna have to eat shit.
I got you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
So retain.
gotcha. All right, and yeah, I'm gonna say retain as well. Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Natalia. Let's go, King Lucky.
Oscar. I don't even know why I would do this.
Sin City,
Asuka.
Simon Street,
Asuka.
and Matt Michaels.
Do it. Do it, Michaels.
If they put the belt on Natalia, that would be the fucking dumbest shit. So why not? Let's take Natalia.
Yeah, give her one last run on the way out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and yeah, Asuka I'll be taking. United States Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. King Lucky.
Lashley.
All right, Sin City.
Lashley.
Simon Street.
Lashley.
Okay. Matt Michaels.
The nachos I'll be having during this match.
Oh, damn. Well, pick somebody, Mr. Nacho Man.
The nacho.
I don't know. Who's
He
got the
picked
belt?
nachos already.
Who's got the belt?
Scott.
Lashley.
Oscar to retain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apollo Crews. Why not?
Okay. All right. And of course, Lashley, I choose. Raw and Smack Team Tag Team Championship, the Street Profits versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro.
If they were smart, Smack Team would win.
Is that your
Smack
pick?
Team.
Is that your pick?
That's my pick. Smack Team wins.
Okay. Sin City.
Nakamura and Cesaro.
Simon.
Nakamura and Cesaro. They needed more.
Huh. Matt Michaels.
Making more nachos during this one. A heavy carb load, I'll tell you. I don't know. Street Profits.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Street Profits. Man, and go ahead, King Lucky. Say that again.
All right. Yes or no? That Retribution shows up at this pay-per-view.
No, they don't show up for pay-per-views.
They must be off the weekends.
Yeah, and take the night off. We
No, because there's no Raw Underground segment.
All right.
So we'd want to remind everybody as well that either all of us or some of us will also be live on the Vegas Bad Boys app during the Clash of Champions. So do yourself a favor and download the app if you haven't on your iOS or Android store. And we'll send out a notification right before for you to jump on, and we would just hang out with you and talk about the matches that we see and see if our predictions were right on or were we way off. So with that, fellas, let's do our final thoughts for the week, and we'll go from there. King Lucky.
Thank everybody for listening. Good night.
All right. Simon Street.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, tuning in. Don't forget to download the app, and everybody stay safe out there. Try to be kind to one another and support as many people as you can. You never know when you'll need it.
All right. Sid City.
Thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing, hanging out with us in the Facebook chat. And yeah, as was mentioned, get in there in the WWE room for Clash of Champions. It'll be fun. Yeah. Until then, take care, guys. Thank you.
All right. Matt Michaels.
Vote?
Okay. Typical Matt Michaels. All right. With that, you all, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care.